on. It's just Mick.
Have you seen Lou lately?
He's supposed to be huge.
He's huge and tiny. Like he's
Really?
short. Like,
Is he?
that giant's a menace.
Right.
And enormously fat. Like a really odd guy, like an extra.
Evidently,
like a
he
fat,
can't.
short extra.
Yeah,
that
he can't sing the way he sang.
breathes through his nose
Yeah,
too loud.
fat, short extra. Right.
And they breathe through their nose too loud.
Yeah.
Hey, when do we have lunch?
I thought there was a buffet.
What bands do you think, and movies too, we could go. Annie Hall underrated, because I think there's a door to open, movies that are known as great, that are actually underrated. And I'll give an example to you. Goodfellas, everyone knows this is a 5-star movie on a 4-star scale, but I'll say it's completely underrated because every time you watch it, you've seen it probably 40 times.
And I can't stop watching it every time it comes on TV.
It's fucking amazing. Yeah. Every time they go through the Copa on that Steadicam, you go, how did they get across the street?
Yeah, yeah. It's a compulsive movie.
And underrated, I'll say.
It didn't win Best Oscar. He didn't win Best
Ordinary
Director, and
People.
no one in it got an Oscar.
It lost to Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
And
Joe Pesci didn't even win.
No.
But he did win. He did win.
He won for Goodfellas.
Yeah,
he
won.
lost Raging Bull,
Yeah.
and Raging Bull lost to Ordinary People,
Yeah.
which is an incredible movie with people talking and real emotions. But to put out a boxing movie in black and white, you fuck my wife?
Yeah.
I hear a lot of things, Joey.
Yeah.
You got a lot of answers, but I'm not. Stop beating, you fat fuck.
Yeah.
She really did a fucking number on you. Look at you.
Yeah.
And he gaslights Pesci so hard.
Oh, yeah.
When he goes, kill everybody. Joey, Salvi, me.
Yeah.
And he goes, whoa, what do you mean by that? You put you with them.
Yeah.
You don't even know what you mean. And when he says it,
Yeah.
it fucks Pesci's head up so hard.
Right.
He's lost.
Yeah.
And Pesci doesn't even know if he had sex with his wife.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to say Baby Jane, way underrated. Well, what are we going to do, music or movies? You pick.
Oh, no, let's do movies. And I'm trying to think of a few. I think it's weird because some people will say you go like a movie's underrated and they'll go, oh, no, it's had too much. I think Young Frankenstein.
Well, that's what I mean about Goodfellas.
Well, right. Young Frankenstein and the producers are, but I think everybody would agree on that, wouldn't they? Or would they?
I don't think enough people know
No, they
how
don't.
amazing. But Gene Wilder, by the way, is so goddamn underrated.
Yeah.
Like, take Alan Alda and multiply it by 1,000
Yeah,
as far
yeah.
as your underrated
Yeah.
machine goes. And like Willy Wonka, like that air of sinister.
Is that the best?
Like, is he going to touch these kids?
Right.
Or
and
is
it's
he really?
not a very good movie. It's kind of shoddy, but he
Totally
holds that
shoddy.
movie together.
And he wouldn't do it unless he could do the somersault to
Yeah.
meet the kids in the
Yeah.
beginning. And the whole movie, you're like, is he going to take these kids in a room and like finger them? It's
Right.
like- but then at the end, they're in that little capsule, and he
Yeah.
goes, you know what happened to the little boy that wanted everything you ever want, or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
He
yeah.
goes, he got it.
Yeah.
He got it. Like, it's this big
He lived
victory.
happily ever after.
That's it.
Yeah.
And in the middle, he breaks down. You lose.
Yeah.
You get nothing.
Yeah.
Good day, sir.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, he is a pederast.
Right.
And then he's not.
No.
He's just this weird, sinister guy that pulls it off.
Yeah, and he
And in
tests
Young
it.
Frankenstein, he has rotten brains.
Yeah, yeah.
Wouldn't do the movie.
Open the goddamn door. No matter how cruelly I beg. Oh my God, he's so fucking funny. My favorite line in Willy Wonka is 2 bad little children gone, and he looks down at the kids. 3 good little children left.
Scratch that.
What kids movie? Yeah, scratch that. Reverse it. And then the new Willy Wonka was just
Please
below.
don't stop. I beg you. But Young
Not good.
Frankenstein, I heard he wouldn't do it. He told Mel Brooks, "I'll do it, but I put in a dance number."
Yeah.
And Mel Brooks was like, "I don't know what you're talking
Right.
about," and it was fucking Peter Boyle.
Yeah.
Putting on the
Yeah,
Ritz.
Which is
Super
extraordinary.
duper.
Yeah. Super duper.
No matter how bad I beg.
Yeah.
So Gene Wilder, Young Frankenstein.
There's let's see. I'm trying to think of some westerns and some.
Hashtag more stories. Tweet us. Let us know what you think is a super. I don't know. Fucking get social media involved. I don't know how it works.
I don't either. I love hashtagging things.
At
though.
Greg Proops.
Yes, at Quit Crips is my Twitter.
2 G's. He's not an asshole about it.
No, I have one on either end.
Yeah, not some fucking jerk with the like. Really, Greg?
Greg. I've always hated that. And Craig is the other one you get when you're Greg.
I
Do
did
you
Greg.
get James?
No. Well, I was a John, and then I was JJ my whole life for John Jr., and I only switched to J because when I made headshots, I had to pay for them myself. I was 15 years old, and with busboy money, and J period was an extra character. And when you printed out 1,000 headshots,
Right.
JAY, that one character saved me like $40.
Really?
So then from that moment on, I was Jay Mohr.
Did anyone ever call you Jay before?
Not maybe like quick, like Jay, like my, but
Right.
everyone
But
like
it was always JJ.
always.
Oh.
That's how you know. Like,
Are you John James or something?
No, John Ferguson, my mother's maiden name. But people is John there, John Jr., John Sr., JJ,
Oh,
JJ,
John
John,
Jr., JJ.
and then fucking
Wow, I didn't know
JFK
that.
Jr. really ruined John for everybody.
Wow.
You put a plane into the ocean, you really put a damper on a nickname.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he played professional sports, it would say John F. Kennedy Jr. out, and then it would say parentheses ocean.
Yeah.
So I don't think Journey's overrated. I just don't.
They're not overrated because they've had enough success, fame, and money.
And the songs are great.
The songs have come back. I was in Memphis this year, and I went to a bar, and it was one of those open mic bars where the people get up and sing, like a proper old, like we would go to open mics. In Nashville, musicians go to open mics.
Love it.
And people were singing one after the next, and this kind of methed up looking dude was sort of singing all night and host, and kind of a half-ass good singer. Then this girl got up, and the fucking song she sang was "Just a Small Town Girl," and the place fucking lit up. And I was like, It
It
magic.
makes you want to put your arm around the person next to you
Yep.
and rock back and forth.
Yes. Walking down the boulevard.
Are you still into punk? Are you a punk guy?
I
Bad
do.
Brains? Do you like Bad Brains?
I was not a huge Bad Brains person, but I think they're extraordinary.
That's like my touchstone.
Oh, is that
for-
really?
They
I
got
was-
me going. They
I
got
was
me
a
to Jane's
Clash of Wolves.
Addiction, which got me to,
Right.
But Elvis Costello, you're right, was like the guy with glasses and a skinny tie. Did you like Spectacle?
I don't know Spectacle.
Oh, Elvis Costello had a show. You can get it on.
Spectacle. Yes, I've
His
seen
show?
it. I don't love it. I don't love him as much now, and that's my problem. It's like I didn't love when he would do string quartets or the Brodsky thing and all that.
Yeah.
To me, I know this is a horrible thing to say because you're supposed to evolve with the artists you love, and I would like.
So basically, what you eulogized him for in the positive,
I deny
you're
Elvis
taking
Costello.
Elvis Costello down for
Yes.
the same thing. He wrote
Well, I
an
wouldn't
opera.
take him down for it.
He
I would
wrote an
just say
opera.
that-
What a jerk!
I wouldn't say he was a jerk for it. It's just that it's not what I. Maybe I grew a different way. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
I would hope that people would follow me and go, because Whose Line fans will like listen to the podcast, and some will like it, and some will be like, "Well, I didn't know he was an opinionated, self-important asshole or whatever." And that's how they talk. They speak in that.
No,
exact
I've heard
voice.
them when they're lined up outside my shows, and I'm like, I'm not Greg Proops.
Right.
I don't know why you're here.
Yeah.
You're welcome to come in.
And then when they, what I never realized till I did the podcast was that a bunch of people hated Whose Line. It wasn't that I didn't know it. It was just that I'd never fucking considered it. And then,
Isn't
of course,
it weird that anybody could hate a show when there's a remote control in your hand? Like, I've never seen a show like the Kardashians. I can say,
Right.
I probably hate,
Right.
because when it comes on, they're like, I just, I
Me
can't
too.
have it on in the room if I'm even in the other room.
No. That's when I would change too.
But I can't say I fucking hate that show
Well, no. And
because I wouldn't watch it to form the opinion. Because as soon as I hear the nails on chalkboard voices
yeah.
and see Bruce Jenner and go, oh, this poor guy, I just turn it.
yeah.
This
I met him on a
cuckold-
plane a year
This
ago.
cuckold man.
I know. When I was telling, I was talking about it yesterday. In 1976, when he won the decathlon, he was like fucking hero in this
The best,
country.
greatest ever.
I mean, like, and then he married the hot wife Christy, and they both had books and shit. And then he was in like TV shows.
Cover of
and-
Wheaties.
Oh yeah, man. Like Bruce Jenner, people don't even remember, was an astounding athlete.
There's no athlete today that you could say Kobe Bryant, but Kobe Bryant's great at basketball.
Right. He couldn't throw a javelin.
Right.
And long jump.
Yeah, and the weird fucking.
And ride the 1500 and run the.
What's the one? Pole vault.
Yeah,
is the
pole
weirdest
vault.
one of all time.
I think Bruce won every event. I'm talking off.
He set a
out of
record
my
at the
ass.
time. You are.
I don't
it's
think
a
he
good
won,
skill that you have.
but I don't think he lost any of those decathlon
I've seen
events.
people lip sync out of their asses, but you actually form cognitive thought through your asshole and through the cavity itself.
Everybody, you watch him now, and it's like, well, like I say, I met him on a plane, and he couldn't have been nicer. And I was beside myself with excitement, only because when I was 16, it was like Bruce Jenner.
Yeah.
And Carl Lewis too. I remember meeting him and being, because I
This
said
is
to
Carl
him,
Lewis Field right here, Palisades High. Carl Lewis track.
is he from here?
Pally High. Him and Forrest Whitaker and a
Wow.
couple guys.
Because I said, when was your last Olympics? 92 or something. And he's like, 96. Like he didn't.
And he was old in '96.
And he
old
ra-
for a sprinter. And
He
won.
ran the first leg of the 4x4, and they were in last place when he handed off the baton, and we won that.
They made up for
He
it.
got a medal. Yeah, that was
That's
his last
cool.
gold. Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's
He
a
was
great article in-
36, but remember he didn't get to play in 80. He didn't get to play in the whole Olympics.
None
He was
of them
like
did.
18 or 19.
Gene Mills, one of the best wrestlers of all time
Yeah.
from Syracuse. He got robbed. But
Right, 80.
there was a
80
great
fucked over a
article in
bunch of guys,
Esquire
man,
about
and girls.
Bruce Jenner, when you watch the Kardashians, is the biggest star of the show and the most commendable because he's the only one that keeps his fucking mouth shut.
Yeah, he just sits there.
And he's an admirable man in this day and age because he's a man that has learned to say, okay,
Yeah.
as you wish.
Yeah.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, exactly.
And on camera with the most bizarre bunch of caterwauling banshee
right.
lunatics.
And his wife, oh my goodness. Yeah, exactly.
So on Spectacle, Elvis Costello, going back to an OG punk, when he had U2 on, he's the only guy I've ever seen. He really is like, to me, a litmus test of the talent. Like when Rufus Wainwright goes on and he goes, could you please play Vibrate for me?
Right,
And
yeah.
Rufus plays it with one hand on the piano and you go, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, right.
And you go out and buy everything. And then when he has on like shit, like Smokey Robinson comes out and he goes, if Marilyn Monroe, Joe DiMaggio, and Frank Sinatra came out around that corner, I would not be as excited as I am. with you. And you go, well, shit, then I'm down with Smokey. I mean, I've always been down, but now I'm down more.
Yeah. Oh,
And
I feel
then
the same way.
He had the Police on, and I've always liked the Police, and I've always thought Sting was a little too Sting.
Yeah.
But watching that drummer make a fool of himself, arguing with everyone at all times,
Yeah.
Stuart Copeland, and then they all played together, and they played Watching Her Detectives and Roxanne at the same time.
Really? Yeah.
And Sting just played bass off to the side and was so happy to be a bass player.
Right.
Like, wow, what a gig.
Yeah.
If I could just be fucking Michael Anthony and Van Halen and just be off to the
Michael
side.
Anthony.
And just be this guy. And just every once in a while I'll do the high notes instead of leading this fucking parade of two assholes behind me.
Yeah.
U2 is on. Excuse me. And they do Mysterious Ways.
Yeah.
And Elvis Costello starts the song, which we all know the song Mysterious Ways by U2, enormous hit. Great song, and I love U2. I'm a big U2 guy.
Yeah. See, I would say they're overrated.
I would say it's a prolific catalog. It's way up there as far as content. But anyway, we'll get to that. But Mysterious Way, Octung Baby, underrated. The album of the 90s, I would say.
The only album I really
It is
liked
one
by
of
them,
the single. It's a Miles Davis kind of blue.
Yeah.
We'll just put that up on the shelf as the greatest oral accomplishment that ever happened. And then somewhere in the conversation, way below it, you got to put Octung Baby up. In the top 30, not including any jazz.
Possibly. It's certainly their best album, in my opinion, yeah.
So they made a huge tactical error. It's like when Frank Sinatra used to go on last, but it was Dean, Sammy, and Frank.
And they were kicking his ass.
And then they switched the order. By the time when you listen, you at home listening to the CD, there's a reason Sammy goes on last. Frank couldn't fucking follow him.
Yeah.
So U2 made a horrible mistake, and they let Elvis Costello, Johnny, take a walk with your sister in the moon.
Yeah.
And it was all of a sudden it's Mysterious Ways,
Yeah.
1978 fucking punk.
Yeah.
It was the craziest, awesomest. You've been running away from what you can't understand. Love. Wow. And it's like, wow. And the Edge is going after it. And then the Edge takes a shot at it. And by the time they get to Bono, he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
He's got his hands in his hair.
Yeah,
like,
right, he's got everything going, right?
It's
He has
so
to do the pose.
right.
And,
It's so right. And you're like, bro. And all I could
Yeah.
think was, how come he doesn't play an instrument?
Yeah.
Like these other two guys are working so hard.
Yeah.
And so into it, and all he's doing is running his. Why is he wearing sunglasses?
Well, that's what I always say. What's with the goggles? I think he has to pose to get it going. I mean, I get what you're saying, though. Do you let other people do your songs sometimes, and you're in for a heap of fucking trouble? I talked about it on the show, but there was a Johnny Cash video that
Hurt?
We were on the tour bus. I was doing a Who's on Tour with Ryan, and he bought this disc that I guess Johnny's son put out, and it was like clips from the old TV show. And Ray Charles comes on, and Ray Charles goes, Johnny goes, you got a new album out now called Country Lovin', and Ray Charles goes, yeah, because that country lovin's different than that city lovin'. And it's the most lurid thing anyone's ever said. And he's like, and you're like, oh no. And then he plays Ring of Fire. And his Ring of Fire.
Ray Charles?
Yeah.
I gotta look this
and
up
it's
immediately.
bone shattering. Like you're
Really?
because Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire is awesome. It's mariachi and it's down. And Johnny Cash, like talking about original punks, like He's so rock and roll as a country star.
Yeah.
And also the delivery and the methodology, everything's always about prison and murder and God and, this and that. And like,
And then performing in prison.
yeah.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
But Ray Charles's version, you're like, oh, you shouldn't have let him near that fucking song because he just beat the shit out of it, buddy, Although Johnny Cash is so gracious that, of course, he's ecstatic that Ray Charles is that good.
And then Johnny Cash doing "Hurt" by Trent Reznor
How
made me
great
think
is that version?
it's better than Trent. Like you
Right.
said, like be careful who you let.
Yeah.
Like hey,
the
Dolly,
Depeche Mode one.
Dolly-
Personal Jesus. And
Dolly-
at that point, he's just croaking,
Dolly Parton, don't let Whitney Houston
Yeah,
do it.
oh, yeah,
And
yeah. Yeah,
You wrote
yeah.
it. You put it out.
Yeah, oops.
Don't let her do it. She's
Yeah.
gonna die of a fucking crack addiction, and then no one will even know who you are, Dolly.
Oh, my.